One of my favorite things about the morning is wearing a cardigan outside whenever it is. Wearing a cardigan outside whenever it is already like 80 degrees. But happy beginning to the work week. I mentioned recently how my work weeks are gonna start shuffling because I don't necessarily work Monday to Friday. So it's the beginning of my work week and it is Wednesday. This week we work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's kind of a long week, to be honest. But I don't know how long this vlog will go into that, but it is Wednesday, but it's Monday vibes. So get on your Monday hat. If you're new, hi, I'm Anna. I'm a mental health clinician, a social worker in a youth detention center, and so far really loving my job. Hey! I feel like I always get back and do my afternoon clips looking like I've gotten run over by a truck because I've gotten hot on the car ride back home, and I feel hot as well. Summer in Georgia really is probably exactly how you would picture summer in Georgia, but add like 10 degrees and then you're right on the money. Today I left at 3 just due to the hours that I spent like over the weekend and the holiday and everything in order to stay under my max number of hours. I'm leaving at 3 tomorrow and Friday as well. So honestly, the day absolutely flew by. I ended up seeing one kid. If you're new, I'm trying to do spiel like every time in case you watch all of these videos and you're like, Anna, I could literally give this spiel to you right now. But if you're new, like I said in the beginning, I'm a social worker at jail for incarcerated adolescents. And so we both do individual counseling as well as crisis management, maintaining mental health safety, being just kind of like emotional support, working on coping skills, all of that. But I have 4 kids that are mine right now that on my caseload that I do individual counseling with. And I had a session with one today and we just played Jenga, and the Jenga has like different numbers on it. And then I have like a sheet of paper that has just various like conversation starter topics essentially that have a corresponding number. So it's like you pull out your Jenga piece, but also while you're playing Jenga, then you're like, oh, okay, I got 3. So then you look over at 3. And some of them are heavier questions, but also some of them are lighter questions. Like, what's your favorite thing to watch on YouTube is one of them. Or like, what's your favorite childhood memory? Like that kind of thing. But then there's also, do you think anger is a secondary emotion? Or like, describe a time when you were really sad. Describe a time when you were really mad. Like, how did those feel? Etc. So big range, but it just kind of gets the conversation going. And so I actually never done it before, but my coworkers have like used that a lot in the beginning stages to establish rapport. And so it really was a good way. And also I felt kind of just like tired going into the day. I'd originally scheduled to see 2 kids today. One of them ended up not being able to come, so I'll just push them to tomorrow or Friday. And in the morning I was like, how am I going to handle seeing 2 kids today? Like I did not feel like I had the energy, but the Jenga was a good way, especially because I'm still getting to know this kid and because he most likely was one of the shorter term ones. It was perfect. Whenever I asked for video feedback a few days ago, a couple people said they wanted to see more unboxings, which I honestly don't buy stuff all too often, but today is the perfect day for that because I have 2 packages sitting right next to me. If you remember, when did this start? Probably like April and into May. I had mentioned how I want to find like a good go-to greens powder because I want to have just like some guarantee that I'm getting an amount of nutrients in a day no matter what I eat. Obviously I try to eat so that my nutrients get filled up, whatever, and I'm healthy, but just on the days that doesn't happen as easy, I just want a good greens powder. And so I tried the Amazing Grass Green Superfood and nothing bad to say about it. I loved it. I liked all that they had in it. It tasted good to me. It tasted like greens, but it tasted good and I genuinely enjoyed having it every morning. I looked forward to having it every morning. It was about 30 servings for $29. Next, I tried a wheatgrass powder that was actually sent to me. It was You've brand on Amazon, if you remember them. And again, nothing bad to say about it, but I just wanted more variety in my go-to greens powder because that one was just wheatgrass and I kind of wanted something that had more variety. Put a pin in that thought because there's 2 parts of this package. Second thing, the other day, Zach and I were talking and I was like, I don't know why, but somehow every night I'm getting severely bloated, my stomach hurt, I feel sick, and I don't know why. And I was talking about that in relation to, oh, I probably need to drink some greens to like fix my stomach or something like that. And then it just like clicked, like a little light bulb went off in my head that I have been having whey protein after my workouts basically every single day, basically every time after I work out, and I'm allergic to dairy. And I think in my head I was like, well, it doesn't count because it's not like milk or anything, but whey very much is dairy. And apparently, I didn't know this, Zach actually said that whey can affect people who are sensitive to dairy even more so than other types of dairy. And so all of a sudden I was like, well, no wonder I'm getting painfully bloated. Like I looked like I was genuinely with child almost every single night and just like did not feel well. And so I decided that I probably needed to switch to a plant-based protein, which should not be revolutionary because like I've been new that I can't eat dairy, and yet I was voluntarily eating dairy basically every single day. So So, when you think of plant protein and you think of greens, what brand do you think of? Orgain. This has nothing to do with them. I bought this 100% with my own money, but Orgain, I would love to try more of your products. I did use Taylor Woods has a code, so if you know and love Taylor Woods as much as I do, go watch her YouTube channel if you don't. But I was able to get 30% off, which was nice. This is their chocolate protein, 21 grams of protein, and we'll see if I like it. It's creamy chocolate fudge, to be specific. They do have other cool flavors that I kind of want to try, but I want to see if I like what I already know. Like, I feel like chocolate, I'm almost guaranteed to like, unless it is bad. And if it is bad, then I don't have high faith in their other flavors. However, if I like their chocolate, then I feel safe enough to venture out the next time that I need some. So, plant-based protein, gonna honor my dairy allergy. And then we also have their superfoods and probiotics super nutrition powder. And so, I assume it's green. I never actually checked. Can I call it greens if it's not? I bet it's green. My goal is to eat things in my day such as the ingredients of this, but also if I don't in a day, then I'll have had this and it'll be good. So I'm excited to try both of these. I'm excited to see if this beats Amazing Grass or not in my head and in my taste. This one was, let me make sure before I say it for real. This one was less servings for about the same price than Amazing Grass. This one's 20 servings, Amazing Grass was 30, but we'll see, because if it's worth it, it's worth it. Oh, on the plant protein, sorry, I keep zigzagging back and forth between these two things. On the plant protein, I did get Kroger brand plant protein. I think it's Simple Truth Organic. It's their plant protein. It was the chocolate flavor, and I wanted it because as soon as I realized that I was having the dairy every day, I was like, well, I just need to stop now. Like, there's no more, oh, just one more time, like, I'm just gonna stop now. But this wasn't gonna get delivered yet, and so I got the Kroger one, which was $17 for 2 pounds, I think. So it was a bit cheaper. Honestly, I got the chocolate a bit, and honestly, it's not my favorite. It's not bad, but it tastes kind of like a pixie stick, which is not what you would expect from protein, much less chocolate protein. Those are all my reviews. I realized I did the unboxing, never actually showing you the box. This is what they came in. And this one is kind of exciting. So this is PR from a brand, Comrade, if you couldn't tell that. It says that their mailer is 100% compostable, so that's a win for them. Did you ever in your life think that I would be a sock influencer? A sock ambassador? Because I never would have guessed it, but I am actually kind of excited for this. They sent me compression socks. Never have I ever used compression socks. Let's see, these are knee-high compression socks, and they're black with a little gradient up top. And these are recycled cotton compression socks. They're also knee-high, and they're navy with the little speckles. And then these are ankle compression socks. I'm gonna say these claims without having looked it up. I'm pretty sure compression helps with your blood flow. I've seen people wear them on like airplanes or long car rides and stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, usually I see older people wear them, but also if they're good, they're good. I'm not gonna put them on my feet now because my feet just worked out and are sweaty, but after my shower, we can complete my transformation into being a sock influencer. Zach, do you know that I'm a sock influencer? Check out my PR.
Dope.
They're compression socks. Do you know what compression socks do?
They decrease swelling and increase blood flow.
Ah, I was right about the blood flow. I said that. I guessed that. Increase blood flow. Increase blood flow, decrease swelling for people of all ages is what Zach said.
My mom wears them.
Your grandma also wears them. And now your girlfriend wears them too. Are you ready? I don't even know what these retail for, to be quite honest. Okay, I don't think there's rights and lefts. What if my calf like doesn't even fit in here? Oh, they're compression. They're compression for sure. It's like getting on a pair of tights. Do I look like the elderly man that you sit next to on the airplane? No, honestly, very comfortable though. I know what you're thinking. I thought you fully committed to not eating dairy anymore. I did. This is a gluten-free, dairy-free pizza. It's fine, given what it is. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I would rather just have regular pizza, but gluten-free, dairy-free means that both Zach and I can eat it, and neither of us are in pain, so. I feel like I have so much going on in my head, even though it's just literally like a random Wednesday night after work, so there's really just not that much going on, but I do need to make the brain all work better together. Try protein. Try greens powder. Start laundry. Put away laundry. Grade LMSW practice exam. Check email. I keep sending emails. I keep having important email conversations going on, and I have to sit down and send emails. And like, it's good because, you know, I'm communicating and getting things done, but I'm having a lot of emails lately. Check email. Start editing. Weekend video. I'm getting to the point where it feels like every day there's something to do YouTube related. So I think pretty soon I'm gonna have to be proactive about that and be like, no, today is a I can't edit day. But we have not reached that point yet, especially because, okay, this is a very very tangential vlog so far, which I don't really apologize for. Back last year, I would literally edit videos Sunday morning to have them up Sunday afternoon. And it didn't stress me out. That just like was the routine. That's what I did. So I mean, it was fine. But obviously that's not the goal. And I'm uploading 2 times a week now. So it's different. And I'm hoping to maintain this. We'll see. Obviously, like, if I have to go down to 1 time a week, I have to go down to 1 time a week. But right now, I'm hoping to maintain this. Starting in April, I started really pre-filming videos because the goal was to have my May PTO. Remember when I went to Europe? That was the goal. And pre-filming like that was new to me, but it got to the point where there was like 3 weeks in advance. If I did no YouTube work, videos were scheduled to be posted and were all ready to go, which was really cool. It was a good feeling. Now, obviously, my goal is not to be 3 weeks in advance because I feel like in the end it doesn't help because I'm still just grinding to keep getting the videos produced, but also I feel like it takes away a little bit of the connection to be less in real time with vlogs. And so I am getting back up to more current day. However, that being said, whenever I open up my YouTube and I don't see 3 weeks of videos ready to post, a part of me is like, oh no, which is why I keep editing. I need to try this protein before I lose my mind again. Oh, I guess I can show you. I'm going to try the protein, I promise. So this is the one that I have been using and that Zach uses. And honestly, like, if whey does not bother you, this is a really good option because it is cheap. It is like $35 for 5 pounds instead of like $30 for 2 pounds like other ones are. It's Body Fortress, so you can get it at Walmart, which is incredible, but they also have it at like Kroger, Publix, those kinds of places too. And if dairy doesn't bother you, it's a really good option. This is the Kroger one that I got. Like I said, it's not bad. It's just a different taste than I was expecting. It doesn't have like, you know, sometimes proteins have that kind of grainy protein taste. It's not like that. It's just a different type of sweet than I was expecting, in that it a little bit tastes like a pixie stick. I'll still for sure use it. Like, I'm not against it. I'm not having to like force feed myself. It's good. But now the moment we've all been waiting for literally 15 minutes now. Oh, it smells good. It smells like the Nesquik powder if you used to ever make chocolate milk with that. I'm mixing it up with vanilla almond milk. Right this moment I'm realizing that my cup matches me. That's cool. Should we take a thumbnail? Oh wait. No, I got this cup for like $3, maybe even $5 at the Target. Let's see. It's good. It is good. I would say it has a little bit more of the proteiny taste, but this is a top runner for me so far. And I do think I would feel comfortable branching out into some of the other flavors. Yeah, I feel good about that. I'm gonna feel extra good in like 20 minutes whenever I don't look like I'm with child from the bloating. I keep referencing like the feedback I asked for, but also it's because like I love hearing from you guys. Someone said though, they were like, weaken the lives, the longer the better. If you have 2 hours of footage, post it. Now I'm not gonna say that these vlogs are gonna get to 2 hours, but I do feel like this is the most footage I've gotten for the first day of the work week ever in my life. Oh, I'm gonna see, let's see. Sometimes they say like how much it's supposed to be mixed with. Mix 1 scoop in with 12 ounces of water in a shaker cup until dissolved. I don't even know how many ounces my shaker cup is. I think it's more than, no, it's for sure more than 12. Oh, this is actually less green than I thought it would be. And it kind of smells like pumpkin. That's the color. Okay, it looks green on camera, but it's not like deep dark green. Yeah. And I do have another shaker sitting here. I guess I might as well do it how it says it to be done. I did closer to 14 ounces, but I feel like that's fine. It's kind of room temperature, so I'm gonna put some ice in it. Just to give it its best chance, you know. It really smells like pumpkin. Now I'm perplexed by this. I'm still gonna call it greens, but I think that this is more of a superfoods powder than specifically a greens powder. I hope when I edit this, I can make it not take 20 minutes of your time. I'm still being compressed down here, by the way. That's a workout in and of itself. Just a moment of truth. Super different taste. Not bad, but like pumpkin-y. Is there has to be pumpkin in here. No, I'm so confused because it literally doesn't even say pumpkin. Not a single pumpkin to be found. It's good though. It is good. I don't know yet which I would choose over each other, the Amazing Grass or this one, but I'll be having this one daily and we'll just kind of see how it feels, you know? So I just graded or did the diagnostic part of the LMSW practice exams I took yesterday. So that was in the previous vlog, but just to catch you up to speed, if for some reason you didn't watch the previous vlog. Basically, I had this 170 question diagnostic practice test. It's from the APGAR book, and I printed it off at work, and I took it, and I had the answer key, and then I was trying to go, because it's supposed to tell you where your knowledge gaps are, where you still need to study. And I tried to go find the same file, and it had totally disappeared. I was thinking it was you, Zach. When you opened the door, it made me lose my train of thought of where I was vlogging. Oh no, I remember. And I told you this too. But whenever I went back to find the file again of the same one that had the diagnostic part of my practice test, it was totally gone. Totally as if it was never been there. And so I thought I might have been misremembering for a second, but I did download it on my work computer, and so I was able to send it to myself today, and that is what I just actually did the diagnostic part to see where I need to study. My best section, and I guess this is good, my best section was concepts of abuse and neglect. I got 100% on all of those questions. And then after that, I was pretty good at biopsychosocial history and collateral data and assessment methods and technique. Those were high points. The ones that I was the worst at, I feel like this is kind of embarrassing. My actual worst section, in that I got 58% of the questions of it right, was the professional values and ethical issues. So apparently I'm unethical. I really think what it is that those are the ones that require the most test taking knowledge, being able to pick the right answer based on what the test says it is. And so I think that that's where, once I actually start studying what the test says the right answers are, then that will get better. But I am going to go through obviously all of the questions and kind of just see what I missed and everything. My other poor sections were professional development and use of self, which I think is probably the same thing, where I have to answer the questions to the test, and then the other sections were just kind of average. So I think my only plan for the rest of today with the studying, because I don't even know when I'm taking the test yet, I haven't gotten approved. I sent in my application, I hope they're processing it, but I have no idea. So I'm just going to go through the ones that I did miss and basically see why before moving on with my life from LMSW for the day. I'm gonna wear my short compression socks today. Baby's first time in jail. By that I mean the socks. I kind of like how they don't have rights and lefts. How I can just put them on. It's correct. Anyways, upload TV. No, I'll actually show you. Videos are going to become you slowly watching my descent into falling for Starbucks marketing schemes time and time again. But they said if I order 2 more vanilla sweet cream cold brews in the next week, I get 100 bonus stars. So they didn't leave me any option but to order 2 more vanilla sweet cream cold brews. Good as ever. I got to work early, so I thought I was going to be able to talk and give a little rundown of the day. But basically there's a whole transport situation happening behind me, which is why you're sitting down here in my lap, because obviously I don't want to get into any kind of confidentiality reasons, but I'm sitting right behind the gate that they transport out, and I just watched 3 of my kids get put into the police car because they all have court today, and they're physically going in now. It's really moved back sort of to normal since after COVID times. And so I thought they would just get in and leave, but now they've been sitting there behind me for 5 minutes. And so, sorry. They're really just still sitting. I don't know, did they run early? I really have no idea. I have no idea what they're doing. So I'm totally just being nosy and watching, but I'll give you the rundown of the day after the day is complete. This very minute, a video is getting posted because it's 3:30 on Thursday. So that's exciting. Glad you clicked on it right as it got posted. So glad you did that. So glad you watched it and liked it and commented. And no, today was a good day. I really am enjoying leaving at 3. It's really fun for me. I feel like it's like leaving early from school or something. But I did 1 counseling session that was just mostly kind of focused on processing emotions, processing a current legal situation. Obviously, and I've mentioned this before, I have absolutely nothing to do with any of these kids' legal situations. I'm not trained in that. That's not my lane, not my competency. I unfortunately am not a judge at this point in my life, or probably ever. But since a lot of what they're dealing with is their legal situation, then it often comes up obviously in their counseling sessions. It's not the biggest thing, but if you don't deal with the pressing issues or the things that are on their mind, then you can't really dive deeper into other stuff, you know what I mean? So this one was just mostly kind of processing through current situation, possible paths that are going to happen out of it. And it was kind of a fake assessment. It technically was an assessment, but it's a kid that was already on my caseload. He was just gone for 36 hours and came back. So I already knew the kid, nothing changed, but I still had to do the assessment. And so that's why I said it was a fake assessment. We had our meeting today, our interdisciplinary team meeting, and it took 1 hour and 45 minutes, which was long. But, as I have coined and recently started saying it takes a village, and we got to make sure the village is all on the same page. And so that's what that meeting is.
Pretty girls from the night school, who knows what you've been through, sinking low in your bar stool. Oh no, he's a new fool. He thinks he knows what you've been through. Oh, leave her alone, leave her alone. Yeah. Even in our darkest hours, I still stand.
I wore braids today because all of my female coworkers, all of my girl coworkers have had their hair in braids. Like, they all went and got their hair braided, and they were like, Shoal, you don't fit in, so I fit in today. No, but it was a good day. I got some feedback that people would love if I include more OOTDs when I wear every day. And what's funny about that is I don't know why I'm so bad at it. I think, here are my theories. In the morning, I'm chaotic, and I always leave like right within the nick of time, which I could get better at. Also, it's like Zach and Jason are also like getting ready around the same time and like out and about and everything. So I don't want to like, this is from Amazon, this is thrifted at that point. But what I did do, and what I'm going to start trying to do, is taking a picture before I leave in the morning of my outfit, just so you can see it if you're curious, because it's not even like I'm the cutest every day. I definitely am not, but I do think that I have put together a good collection of items that can be put together into various outfits that work professionally. And so this was the first of these pictures. My goal is for them to get better as they go on. I just really propped it up against my car and did a little self-timer, but I can't do those in the afternoon because I'm a sweaty, melty mess. Exhibit A. It was a good day today. I got a lot done, but it wasn't necessarily busy. I actually didn't even go out on the unit at all, which is kind of strange. Like, I very much stayed in the office, but I got things done, which was good. I melted. Yeah, so for the actual meat and potatoes of the day today, I've never used that phrase before in my life, but I think I did it correctly, so. Also, this is dairy-free cheese, so don't come at me. Actually, don't come at me about the vanilla sweet cream cold brew. I realized what I did, but some people have been curious lately about the biopsychosocial assessment that I'll sometimes mention. And so honestly, what we do is very similar to like if you've ever had to do a biopsychosocial like assignment of any kind in any social work class or anything like that. Or if you haven't, don't worry, I'll still talk about it. I had to do a couple biopsychosocial, mostly in undergrad. And I didn't cheat on all of them, but I did it on like Zach or one of them I did my grandpa. So it was like I knew most of the things and it was with people I was very comfortable with, so I didn't actually practice like asking the questions. But whenever new kids come into the facility, we obviously just want to get a good holistic picture kind of who they are so that we can know how to support them, like what kind of services they need. And then like if anyone's getting any kind of mental health care of any kind out in the community, then obviously we would want that to be a smooth transition in. So like if anyone's on medication, that's super important to know. If someone's like been in counseling since they were 12 and now they're 16, like that's good to know, because obviously like you want to be able to support them in the ways they're used to be supported, but then also because coming into jail is a very irregular adjustment, you want to be able to support them through all of that too. So the biopsychosocial we do within 72 hours of them coming in, and it's just to get a good picture, or as much as you can. Like obviously you don't get to know someone fully from a biopsychosocial, but like a picture of who this kid is. And so some things that are just like important history wise, and this will change depending on which agency you work in, like what is most important, but we'll ask about like family, like who they live with, what their relationships are like, if there's any notable absent family members, like if they talk about they live with their mom and their grandma, then sometimes we'll just ask like, do you know your dad? Because some people it's like, oh yeah, I go there every other weekend. Some people it's like I've gotten the quote, he could be dead or in jail, I don't care. And that's like important to know, you know, like it just shows some dynamics happening. Sometimes it'll come up like if they've ever moved from somewhere, like I'll ask sometimes like, oh, like were you born in Atlanta? Just trying to figure that out, whether there's immigration or just like maybe they moved from California when they were 7 or like something like that, just an important life event. We'll ask about school history just briefly, see if there's any like IEP, grade retention, history of expulsion, of suspensions, any of that. We'll ask about specific mental health things, specifically like self-harm or suicidal history, or if someone's ever been in inpatient treatment, ever been like hospitalized for any mental health reasons, if they have ever been on any kind of medication for mental health reasons. We'll ask some like family history things, like to the best of your knowledge, has anyone in your family ever had any kind of mental health diagnosis or any kind of mental health struggle? We'll ask like their report, self-report, do you feel that you've ever been depressed? Do you feel like you've ever had sleeping problems? Like you've ever had eating problems? Do you have anger problems, impulsivity? I'm trying to think what else. I'm like literally going through the form in my mind. Like I just created my own template to include all the important things. We will ask about substances. Granted, it's a little bit different in jail than it would be if someone were in like substance abuse treatment or anything, because they're in jail, they don't have the option to. Honestly, smoke weed is most of it, but they don't have the option to, so it's a little bit different because it's not like drug counseling at all. But it is obviously just good to know, especially if someone is young and has tried or taken harder things than THC. We'll ask about trauma history there, just like, has anything really bad or scary ever happened to you? Have you ever seen anything really bad or scary happen to someone else around you? And then if they mention something, usually we'll ask like, and how does this affect you now, if it still does, just to kind of know if that is something to be looking into. And then we always like call parents, because these are kids, they're minors, and just kind of like corroborate information. Usually I found that usually the kids have a pretty good picture of their life and everything, but sometimes it's like you'll get on the phone with the mom and be like, oh, things are a little bit different than how they described it. And then with that, we decide like what kind of supportive services they need, whether that's mental health or not. So mental health in the facility does a lot of like emotional support, and so like if anyone's on medication for mental health reasons, then of course they'll stay on like mental health caseload. They'll be assigned to one of the counselors. If they have a history of self-harm or suicidal behavior, then that is almost a guarantee be on caseload, because you want to be able to support those kids through the adjustment. So not everyone is on the caseload, like not everyone receives therapy like that whenever they're detained, but everyone does get some sort of like access to support, whether it's like groups or whatever it is. Something that I do think is important to mention is before doing any kind of biopsychosocial assessment, or really any assessment, but especially this one, I always make sure to like give a rundown of like basically who I am, what I do, and what this is for, and like why we're doing it. I always super emphasize with the kids, like, this has nothing to do with your legal situation. Like, I have nothing to do with your legal situation. This is just so that like I can know how to support you best for the time that you're here. And I have found that doing that helps them feel more comfortable and feel more open to than if I were to just like sit them down in a room and start asking them questions, because like if they have no idea what's going on, then of course they're not gonna want to do the assessment. And I like have to recognize too, the thing that makes me always uncomfortable with biopsychosocials is like they don't know me yet at all, and here I am asking like all about their lives, you know. So it's interesting. Oh, something too, I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but I always give the rundown of like confidentiality, which is something you should always do like whenever you're starting with a client, and essentially just saying like everything that you say here is fully confidential. I always say within the mental health department, because we do like sometimes like maybe I'll do an assessment but he won't end up on my caseload, so they'll still like see his assessment or that type of thing. So I just say within the department it's confidential. The only exceptions to that is if you tell me that you're going to hurt yourself, you're going to hurt somebody else, or that you've been abused, because then we just need to make sure that everyone's situation is safe. That's a little rundown. After doing the interview part, we type it up, and like I said, kind of just determine how to support them best while they're there. So those are pretty common to do because kids come in and out, and every time they come in they get one, so sometimes there'll be like previous ones on file, which then can be kind of helpful because you can kind of go through with them and be like, has anything changed since you've been here last, all of that. So I did one of those today. How was that for the in-depth? And I also did a counseling session. I had tried to organize it to where I did all of my counseling sessions this week, because we do twice a month. I had tried to organize, so I had all of my first of the months this week, and then I'll take a week off, and then the third week would do all of my second ones. It's not quite gonna work out that way. Too good to be true, I guess, but it's okay. But I had a counseling session, and this was my first time actually using like a handbook, like a workbook sort of. We have different programs that we can go through, and this kid seemed to want to do more like kind of work sort of, and like it's common in CBT to have like handouts and worksheets and stuff like that. So it's actually my first time using stuff like that, and I feel like it's hard because I never want to be like a teacher essentially, like in a counseling session. I don't want it to seem like, oh, I'm just like preaching to you, because that's not what it's supposed to be. So I find that sometimes those handouts are hard because I also don't want to just like pass it to him and be like, okay, read this. So we kind of worked through it together, and I think that I'll get more comfortable with it as we go on. And I think that what's interesting with teenage boys too is sometimes they can seem really disengaged, but it actually, like, if you ask them afterwards, like, yeah, that was a really good session. And I think this was kind of that case where like in the moment I was really questioning myself, like, it looks like he hates this, but I think it was actually okay. I feel like I'm gonna lose my OOTD privileges just as quick as I gained them, but here are my OOTD picks for the day. As you can see, I kept my hair in the same braids they were yesterday. I kind of felt like it might have been pushing it with the amount that kind of came out and got frizzy during sleep, but it's Saturday in jail. so I just don't need the primmest, properest braids. I've mentioned it a little bit before, but basically on weekends I don't go the full day. Today I'm probably gonna stay, it's 8 right now, I'm probably gonna stay till like 11:45 or so, just because we make sure that the most critical things get done. Like if there's kids that need to be checked on every day, then check on them. If there's any like assessments that come up or anything that happens that needs to be taken care of, do that. But then also just kind of be a presence, especially during, pardon me. Especially because weekends are visitation, which is really good for some kids, but then also harder days for some kids, depending on if visitation doesn't go well, if there's like a rocky relationship, or if nobody shows up for visitation, that type of thing. So we try to be here around those hours, just in case, you know, I'm exhausted. And that's the end of that. Yep. Close your eyes and picture this. Me, sitting in my office, in jail, surrounded by freaking cinder blocks, cement walls, whatever it's made out of, and in the sky slowly getting darker and darker. And you don't necessarily notice it because it's so gradual until all of a sudden, big flash of lightning, big boom of thunder, and the heavens open their arms once more and start pouring down rain. And it was in that moment that I knew the trajectory of the day had changed. I was really bored at work today. I left at probably like 11:15 and was really hungry as well. And I have a free entree at Chipotle. So I was like, yes, I'm just gonna go to Chipotle, get some chips and guac, get a free, I'm getting emotional thinking about my Chipotle. Get some chips and guac, get my free entree, and then it was pouring down rain, awful driving, everything. And in the middle, probably when I was like 5 miles from here, I got this huge alert that came up, like it dinged like 7 times saying tire pressure critically low, which I know that like maybe the rain has decrease the temperature. That's what I was trying to think. Like maybe it decreased the temperature and the tire pressure just got low enough due to that right in the middle of the road is when it realized that, and that's why it went off. But then I don't know if I was making it up or not, but I started to feel a little bit topsy-turvy, and so I might have a flat. I made it home, but I might have a flat. But I didn't stop at Chipotle because I didn't want to stop there, get out of my car and be like, oh yeah, that's flat, and like be stuck at Chipotle. So I didn't even get Chipotle, and I'm just pending getting out and seeing if I have a flat. Watch this just be all really dramatic, and really it just is like regular low tire pressure. But I hate having to fill up my tires or like do anything like that, and I might shed a tear either way. If I get out and figure out it's flat, I might shed a tear, and if I get out and it's not flat and I didn't get Chipotle for nothing, I might shed a tear. None of them immediately jumped out to me looking like they were flat. They all just look regular, so I probably could have gone Chipotle. I really thought that was gonna catch me getting in here. Going on a field trip in Zach's car so I can get Chipotle. Zach said to listen and see if it sounded like any air was leaking from my tires, and it really didn't. Like I didn't notice it. I just don't know, but I'm getting Chipotle, so that's what matters. Literally just what the doctor ordered. Okay, now that I feel in a more capable state of mind, actual work today, really I went in, I figured out who I needed to do rounds for to see. I did rounds to see them. Basically everyone was still asleep. I think the boys are starting to get a little too comfortable with me. Like whenever I first show up, and this is like true, I feel like just with like teenagers sometimes. Whenever you first show up, they're kind of like crashing out a little bit, just to try to impress, you know, kind of like push, like, you know, like talking back a little more like around me. But then they get comfortable and they don't feel the need to do that anymore. And that when I was walking down the unit, I just said, good morning, how you doing? Having a good day? As soon as I walked past the door, hey baby, come back here. I said, and kept on walking. But that's the first time stuff like that's will happen at this facility. And not that it's uncommon, but the biggest thing is to just not entertain it at all. You know, like, obviously lots of times I'll joke back with the kids about different things, but if they're gonna like have that kind of attitude, there's no even like joking back, it's just nope. But then I finished up the assessment I did yesterday. I like consulted with our psychologist and entered it into the system, signed for kids I needed to sign for, and then just sat there. So it really wasn't bad. I'm just stressed about tires now. I got the last vanilla sweet cream cold brew that's needed for me to get my bonus stars, so maybe I'll be freed from Starbucks' grip. This time I got 2 pumps of brown sugar syrup instead of vanilla syrup. That's good, it's fine. I also got a breakfast sandwich because we need to get groceries, and so we're basically out of everything. Here we go. Do I look like someone with great circulation? Because I should. This is my last pair of Comrade socks that I'm glad that I wore all 3 in this video. I feel like that makes it full circle. I have a bit to catch you up on. As you know, last couple times we've chatted, I was a little bit stressed with my car. I think looking back, a little like mental health clinician's reaction to my previous actions and thoughts and words. I think that I'm just always stressed whenever anything happens with car because it can just be such great expenses out of nowhere, and I feel like in the past I've had just like very expensive car things happen, and so now anytime any light comes on or anything, I'm one, stressed that I'm going to like get in a crash or something, but then also it's like the better case scenario of that is, oh, it's okay, I'll just get something fixed and it'll cost multi-billion dollars. Everything is all right. I did drive Zach's car today, just like to work and back, and then afterwards I was very thankful for this with Zach, but he very much helped me with both of my car things. And so, you know, the headlight that I feel like it's been like a whole month now that I keep mentioning, and I keep mentioning it in the sense that I'm going to get it fixed and then I just don't yet. So I was thinking today, let's just knock both car things out. I got a tire gauge yesterday. I didn't vlog this, I don't even know why, but Zach and I went to Bass Pro. We had to drive like 40 minutes to get to a Bass Pro because inner city Atlanta just like isn't really the clientele for Bass Pros. They don't really have any like in the city, but they had one up in Lawrenceville, and so we went up to Lawrenceville to Bass Pro, and this is because Zach really loves fishing and he found a place nearby that he can fish, so he wanted to get some fishing stuff. Went to Bass Pro, but while we were at Bass Pro, also got a tire gauge so that we could gauge my low pressure tires, because remember that's what we also got a screwdriver, because remember I needed a screwdriver to fix my headlight. So if you're not caught up on previous vlogs, which do that, but I went to O'Reilly's to get the actual headlights, but I didn't have a screwdriver, and Kroger didn't have a screwdriver, and so I finally got a screwdriver. So today we were like, okay, let's just knock all of the car things out of the park, home freaking run. And we watched YouTube videos of how to change the headlight, was feeling really confident in it, and we did successfully like get the part out of my car, like found out where the headlight went, and found out that O'Reilly's gave me high beam bulbs, not low beam bulb. And I remember specifying low beam bulbs, but at that point I was like, the package is already open, it's not worth me going back to O'Reilly's and being like, you gave me high beams. So I was like, well, I guess I'm getting new high beams today. So we changed out both my high beams. Neither of them were out, but now they'll last forever. Successfully changed out both my high beams too. Like, we were real mechanics out there, real mechanics. And my headlight is still out at no fault to my own at this point, I feel like. So I still will look like a doofus driving around, but just for one more day, because I came back in, I just ordered low beam bulbs off Walmart, because now I know like what kind to get and everything, and I know what they're supposed to look like, because once we actually like opened it, I've never changed a headlight before. Like, they look very different, but I didn't know that they looked like what they looked like. Now I know what the low beam bulbs look like. They should be delivered tomorrow, so we will go back out and be mechanics another day. So that was number 1 that didn't get fixed. Number 2 that did get fixed, we got my tire gauge. My tires are supposed to sit at 34 psi. That's like ideal for my tires. The back, either right or left one, I think the back right one was at 26 psi, which is a lot less than that, and we couldn't hear a leak or anything coming from it, so we filled it up and they're all okay now, and it turned off the sensor, but I'll just be watching it, I suppose, to see if it keeps leaking, if it needs like a plug or anything. Honestly, I am fully expecting to have a flat tire sometime in the coming months, and like I wish I could knock on wood and be like, oh, but no thank you, but really just the roads that I drive on are really bad. If you need to know some things about Atlanta, the roads are terrible. The roads are really bad. It's not even like, oh, there's a couple potholes. It's like, no, random roads will just have absolute chunks missing out of them, and you don't know it until your entire car like does this huge like thunk and you're driving and you're just, oh, okay, yeah, I guess we're fine. That's what it's like driving in Atlanta. Sometimes they'll put metal plates over it, which honestly doesn't help. So my tires are going through it, and I feel like my new route to work and back, the roads are just even worse. So those were the things of today. I guess work, if you'd like to hear about that. I know I've mentioned in previous vlogs, I feel like I keep referencing myself. I need to start a.bea.s my previous videos, because I always say in my previous vlogs, but I've mentioned how sometimes I feel like I'm doing nothing and there's just really slow days, but that's because a big part of being mental health there is just like my presence there in case anything were to happen, in case there was any kind of crisis of any kind, and sometimes there is. And so I feel like today was kind of one of those days, which like obviously there's stuff I can't go into details about, but today was one of those days where the first 4 hours that I was there, I really just didn't do much. Like, I prolonged doing rounds, because yesterday I did rounds at 8:45 a.m. and everyone was still asleep. So I was like, well, I guess that makes sense. Like, it's 8:45, it's a Saturday, they're teenage boys, whatever. Today I went at 10 a.m. and I was like, surely people are up and at 'em by now. No, everyone was still asleep. So like I did that, then I just came back and I figured out how to check out books from my library and get them on the computer in jail. So was reading in the office, was watching YouTube videos, was playing Phase 10 on the computer, was talking to the nurse who was working today, and it felt like I wasn't doing much. But then I feel like I kind of taught myself a lesson because I ended up talking to an officer for like an hour who just wanted to chat, which is, you know, good because mental health, not just for the kids. But then probably 45 minutes before I was planning on leaving, a kid did need mental health, and so I did have some things to handle and some things to sort out and some paperwork to do and all of that. But honestly, I felt really grown up because it was something that when I was interning, I know really would have stressed me out, especially the fact that I was there alone. Like, obviously that never happened when I was interning, but I like can remember feeling the anxiety of when I was new and having to like do this certain type of paperwork and everything. And this time I handled it like it was no big deal. Like, I obviously talked to the kid, made sure they were all right, like did my due diligence with that, and then also did my due diligence with all of the paperwork that I needed to get done. I got done what I could, and then like communicated with people who will need to finish it up, and like I feel like I handled it really well. So, kind of on my high horse as I was leaving today, I'm not gonna lie. I was really proud of myself. And I realized originally I was like, oh, this vlog's gonna go till Monday because that's the end of my like workday streak. Because remember, I worked Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday makes day 6. But since we did 5 days, I think that counts as a work week vlog. And so I think I'm gonna end scene. That was a little harder than I meant it to be. End scene here, and obviously, as you already know, I'm so excited for all that is to come, and I just am so appreciative of you watching. I feel like I'm settling into my work vlog routine, so I'm glad that we're doing that together. As always, I hope that you have so many small reasons to smile in your day, small little things bringing you joy, and I am so excited to see you next time.